So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're doing okay this evening because I've got some bad news. Mods might not be available in F124. Yes, that's right. Modded liveries and, any modded files and all of that looks like it's in a non-editable database file. Now, Codemasters have been looking to do this for years. They have been trying to get rid of the modding community for years. They have tried changing the coding for the past quite a number of few years. The Ego Archiver, which is what we use to mod the game on PC, that every year there has to be a new version of that because Codemasters have changed some coding that means some of the files don't work with the previous version. It looks like they've gone one further this year. Now, we have to understand this for those of you who are new to the F1 game. Basically, Codemasters and the modding community used to have a good relationship, most notably on F1 2018, where the language file, which is basically a file which's got all the languages, you can change drivers' names, team names as well in there, that was made available back in F1 2018. It wasn't available on launch, unlike the previous year's one, but they did make it available for the modding community afterwards. Now, what the modding community did after that was then had a look in the game files, and Codemasters back then decided that it would be very sensible to put next year's stuff in the current game, meaning that coding for future games was in F1 2018, and most notably F2 cars were in F1 2018 in some coding fashion or form. This of course then got released by the modders saying that F2 cars are coming to the game, and after that Codemasters, their tune changed. They have been wanting to get rid of the modding community for the past 5 years. So far they have failed. The rise in cheap engine, has been mean that even without the language file being available, as it hasn't been available since F1 2018, even without that available, you can get around it with cheat engine mods, driver transfers, and there's a whole load of mods that are available now that weren't available back in F1 2018, thanks to the cheat engine being introduced to the F1 game. Which potentially people wouldn't invest their time if that language file was available. So yes, but they've changed this completely. I'm hoping that this isn't the end for the modding community on the F1 game. But as it is, if you are thinking on the fence about buying F1 24, I would say not. Wait. And I will come back to one of the big reasons about the handling later on. But career mode, yes, the rivalry stuff is there, and again, I strongly recommend, if you haven't seen it already, to check out Tuesday's video, because I covered a lot about the rivalry and about the contract stuff, because we got it leaked early, so that was Tuesday's video. I strongly recommend you go and check that one out. There'll be an I thing at some point throughout the video to the playlist, so you can go and check out this playlist so far. But yes, F1 24 could be the end, and to be honest, why not? Especially with F1 Manager. F1 Manager is going to be taking more and more players, because F1 Manager has an open modding. So far, I don't know Frontier's stance on modding, whether they like the fact that their game gets modded every year, if they mind having the game modded or not. I don't know what Frontier's view is on that. We are getting more game news soon on that. I think next Wednesday, is the date we're getting more game news on F1 Manager 2024. But yes, this is very disappointing, this news. Now obviously we need to move on to analyse the press release, and then I will come back as I normally do and analyse some extras as well. So this is the press release, in case you haven't seen it, from earlier. I'm just going to really gloss over it because I'm pretty sure most of you have already said, as you know, B1 at the 20 is their new tagline, really, which as well. Yes, the trailer itself only really showed, as you saw, some pictures of some new of the tracks that have been redone, like Belgium. There's a massive overhaul there. I'll come back to that later after this. And then also the face of Naomi Schiff. So I presume she'll be doing some presentation / commentary, possibly interviews, as I mentioned on Tuesday's video. That could be a returning feature to F124. Now, dynamic handling. Yeah, I mean, Lee made the. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Most of the time, he does talk out of his bottom. Yes, the handling. Now, this is not what I've heard about what he's said here, because what they've given, what I've heard from the closed beta, is that the game is undrivable, and regardless, you can't be having an undrivable game. They're saying it's unrealistic as well, because in the fact they talk about traction and just there's a whole heap load of stuff. They're not going to go too much into it because apparently they're revising the handling for the second round of closed beta, so we'll get more updates in later videos. But yes, what they promised might not actually come to true. They promised something similar about handling on F123, and looked how that turned out. So yes, I've not played the game myself, so I can't tell you. I'm just going on what other people have said. Have actually played the game, and they've obviously told the community about this, and not what Lee has to say as well. Greater authenticity, enhancement on and around circuits. Spa has finally been redone. I don't know how they've redone that. They've made changes to LaSalle, which shows how shoddy they made it in F123 using the ArcGIS world imaging stuff. Not the best thing. They could have done a lot better with that. And they've also made changes to Jeddah as well. And this is something that we didn't know. In addition, actual driver audio samples taken from F1 broadcasts add a new dimension. We heard there is audio in the trailer. As again, if you want to listen to the trailer and you haven't seen it already, there'll be links to this and that and everything in the description below. Plus a new broadcast presentation catch and cutscenes. It's not. I mean, this bit is new, but I mean, yeah. I mean, Crofty did have a little bit in F1 2010. Cutscenes, I mean, they're old cutscenes, really. Cutscenes have been in old F1 games, so yes. Revamped career mode, yes. In an overhauled career mode, players can step in the shoes of F1 drivers on the 2024 group. And we've got the two icons to make their debut, James Hunt and Juan Pablo Montoya. I can't argue with that. The only person that is still missing from my team, an icon from my team, for some reason, Juan Manuel Fangio, 5-time world champion, is not in the F1 game. Honestly, don't understand why. Yes. Anyway, gain recognition, build reputation with the paddock through on-track objectives. So the link in the on-track performance to this, we already had reputation before, as I mentioned in Tuesday's video in F1 2018. Race day task keeps players focused on the checkered flag, and then targets as well can secure them. And as I said, you can have those secret meetings. R&D upgrades. Driver reputation also affects the support players can get from their team. The greater the rep, the more motivated the team. This is not something new because that department motivation was already in an F123. It's just that the morale system, basically. Players can go in and all one innovation, spread their resources for a more balanced development. I hope this has been redone. Accolades, long-term goals based on number of top 10 finishes. So basically, you're going to get pole positions to claim the World Championship. 2-player with career mode, which has basically had all the changes to driver career mode copied and pasted. And then there's challenge career. And then this is a perfect introduction before committing to a 24 race season. And to be honest, I will not be committing to a 24 race season ever. Jump into the shoes of a pre-selected driver and compete in a series of mini seasons with community voting influence, additions and circuits, a future event. That sounds like a F1 World thing. Our biggest career innovation since 2016. Well, he's clearly forgotten my team. He's clearly forgotten all the changes that have been made since then. So that Lee, you're wrong about. Delivers on what our players want, a greater variety away from the track, alongside new handling and career innovations, updated circuits, new audio, refreshed broadcast presentation gives player the feeling of being close to the circuit. Some of the same bollocks that has been recirculating for the past 10 years. Yeah, F1 2016, I mean, that had, 2020 was the last time that career actually got a big update, really. And again, some of these are big updates, but some of this is just being brought back, and so it's not really new. And they've not mentioned stuff that I had mentioned in the video on Tuesday, such as the rivalry level that you have as well. Again, go and check that video to see that. F1 Rails returns, unfortunately, for those of you who don't run it. The home of multiplayer Grand Prix in Challenge Rail, because it's been covered and pasted from F1 23. And it's got a new fan zone feature as well, which again we already know about that. So yes, there's a limited league that includes collaborated roles. Players can starting next week. There's a deep dive which is coming on 22nd, which is Monday. So yeah, that video should be earlier as well, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, you still get they've extended the pre-order date to the 1st of May, and I'll come back to that in a moment. Now, of course, Josh Merrin. I mean, yes, we've got a picture, as you can see. Interesting. I don't know if this is going to be a cutscene or something at the start of the season, but Alpine seem to have released this image as well. Basically, you can see, like you see at the start of each season, all the teams and drivers starting. Yes, the car models, by the way, they are not the final ones. It's the FOM sashes. These are the actual car models that you can race currently as well. In actual fact, speaking of the car models, you know, we should have really expected that the Ego engine was going to be something that they continue with the amount of cars that we're putting from F124 in F123 as well. Jeddah, Qatar, Silverstone and Spa, so there's some images. Not really seeing, as I say, Silverstone and Spa being completely rescanned. Not really entirely sure what they did with the previous scan of Silverstone, because they only did that a few years ago. Was it F122 that they redid Silverstone? But yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. This is Qatar, which, to be honest, I don't if they actually done laser scanning like Las Vegas they did, because Las Vegas, you know, they did so much work on Las Vegas. That is the level of detail that every track should have. What they did for Qatar was they used ArcGIS data. They used data from Esri, which might not be the best data available. They didn't even consider using like a digital terrain model like they used on Zandvoort as well. So yes, aerial photography isn't always the best, because at the end of the day it's a flat image compared to a height model as well. And then obviously Spa, I mean, it's had this redone, obviously the new grandstand. Sadly the house has finally gone as well, at the top of Eau Rouge Radion, whatever you want to call it, as well. And this new grandstand that they put there has been added. Although, is there gravel here? Okay, well, I forget. I'm pretty sure they added gravel here as well, but correct. I'm probably wrong about that as well. Now, while drivers faces have been rescanned for F124 as well. This was the image I showed earlier. This is Max Verstappen. He's had his face rescanned basically, and if you go back to this image, you can see that some of them have. Alonso looks a little bit different. Bottas definitely different from last year as well, with the new rescan as well. So some of them definitely had rescans. They haven't reanimated them. I don't know where this image has come from as well. Basically, this is the podium celebration image. I think it's actually in the trailer, actually, for a split second, actually, excuse me. But yeah, they have not reanimated them. It looks like it's the same animations for the podium scenes as last year. So yeah, overall, it's a bit disappointing, to be honest. I am disappointed by what they've come out with. I'm sure there's going to be more to come out with, but the big disappointment is modding. Modding is something that makes the game, makes the game continue. I'm bored after one season of seeing some of the liveries, tops two. I'm seriously considering of just saying, right, 2 seasons, we'll do a 2-season driver career mode and that's it on F124. Even if I do that, I might not bother, because my driver career mode is probably going to look the same as others. So yes, there might not be. I'm sorry to say this, because driver career mode, if you have been subscribed to the channel, it has been a staple of the channel since F1 2020, since my team came to the game. But it's looking like that, somebody, Arav, Ben, and all the big YouTubers, at the end of the day, they'll also be doing driver career mode, because my team is probably not going to be getting a livery editor, which is something that's been asked for, and is something that's happening to F1 Manager straight away, putting in a livery editor. Yes, but yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with the game, to be honest. It's the amount of the games that they say it's overhauled. It's not really overhauled. They've made some changes, and they've brought some things back from from older F1 games, and they re-refined some of the rivalries and made them things better. But it's not an overhauled. It's not a brand new career mode. A brand new career mode would have a completely new menu. It'd have a full-on livery editor. Completely new stories, introducing like your own stories as well. Completely new, as I say, interviews is not yet confirmed, so we don't know we're actually going to get that. It's just going to be cutscenes and stuff, and drivers' voices. That is something new that is good to see in the game, but it's not. I don't think it's enough. A lot of, I think that we said before, is the ego engine holding them back. at the end of the day, they're probably going to be some of the same stupid contact stuff that we've had since F1 2016, like when a car makes contact with you on your right wing and yet your left end plate is yellow, is broken. Yeah. But yes, I've ranted on enough. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I've already seen a lot of your comments saying, some of you have already said you're not going to buy until after launch, which I don't blame you, because this might not, it might be a terrible game. And don't forget that Assetto Corsa 2 is on its way as well. Similar timing to this, I believe it's June time. F1 Manager 2024, which should have mods available, I presume, will also be coming out. So, yes. But yes, that's where I'm going to leave today's video. I've enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Subscribe if you're new to the channel to see plenty more F1 24 game news videos as they come out. The next one will be on Monday, when they do their deep dive. And there will also be a video on Wednesday with F1 Manager 2024 as well. So I might try and squeeze F1 24 morning on Tuesday, but it's going to be tight, I will admit that, as well, to get all these videos made and done as well. But yeah, until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, enjoy your day, and goodbye.